From Washington, D.C., this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm HENA ZUBERI. Our top story tonight, Imam Hassan Sharif of Newark, New Jersey, has passed away. The Imam of Masjid Muhammad was shot early Wednesday morning as he approached the mosque for early morning prayers. Officers responded to a call about a shooting at 6:15 a.m. Imam Sharif was transported to a local hospital in critical condition, the city's public safety director said. At 2 p.m. today, Imam Sharif passed away. Masjid Muhammad was founded in 1957 as Temple Number 25. It is home to the Claire Muhammad School, Newark, a K-12 Islamic school focused on teaching the Quran and Islamic values. The motive for the shooting is not immediately clear, and police are continuing their investigation of the attack. Israel commits yet another war crime, bombing a hospital. In the last 24 hours, Israel's military has killed 128 Palestinians and injured 261 others. Israeli forces have carried out intense shelling and airstrikes targeting residential areas in the city of Khan Yunis in southern Gaza. Israeli jets also bombed a house in Jabalia, north of Gaza City, killing at least 20, according to local reports. Additionally, Israeli fighter jet strikes attacked the Nuseirat refugee camp, causing severe destruction to residential towers in central Gaza. The Palestinian Red Crescent reported an Israeli strike on Al Amal City Hospital in Khan Yunis, southern Gaza, that killed at least 5 Palestinians. The cumulative casualties from Israeli attacks on Gaza since October 7 have reached 22,313 deaths, with 57,296 people injured. There are also an estimated 7,000 individuals missing and presumed dead, buried under the rubble from Israeli attacks. An Israeli airstrike hit a building owned by the Palestinian Red Crescent Society in Khan Yunis, Gaza, killing 5 civilians and injuring many. The compound, which includes the PRCS headquarters, Al Amal Hospital, a hotel, and a facility for individuals with special needs, was struck. Approximately 14,000 Palestinians had sought refuge in the area since Israel's war on Palestine began on October 7th. The Red Crescent facility, considered a safe zone, has been targeted multiple times during the attacks. Additionally, in occupied West Bank, 5 Palestinians were killed during an Israeli military operation in Azun. Senior Hamas official Saleh al-Aruri has been assassinated in a drone strike in southern Beirut, Lebanon. While Israel has not officially claimed responsibility, Israeli lawmakers like Danny Danon have praised their country's security forces for the operation. Israel's military says it is on high alert, fearing potential repercussions after the assassination. Palestinians in the West Bank are observing a general strike in protest, and the United Nations has urged restraint, warning of possible devastating escalations. Hezbollah has vowed that this attack will not pass without punishment, raising concerns over regional tensions. 2 explosions rocked Iran's southeastern city of Kerman, killing 73 people, Iran's state TV reports. At least 170 people were also wounded in the bombings. The blast took place during a ceremony commemorating the 2020 death of Qasem Soleimani, a top Iranian commander. The cause of the explosions near Soleimani's tomb remain unclear. Thousands had gathered at the cemetery to mark the 4th anniversary of Soleimani's death, which was followed by a drone strike outside Baghdad airport. Iran's Tasnim news agency reports that 2 bags carrying bombs went off at the site. Kerman Mayor Saeed Tabrizi said the bombs exploded 10 minutes apart. Palestinian farmer Qadri Deraghme was forced to pay a hefty fine of $13,500. This was to secure the release of his 19 cows, which had been confiscated by Israeli forces in the Jordan Valley. The seizure occurred following the instigation by illegal Israeli settlers. They often disrupt Palestinian farmers' livestock from grazing in the fertile region of the Jordan Valley. Approximately 65,000 Palestinians live in the area, which makes up about 30% of occupied West Bank. International law deems all Israeli settlements and settlers in occupied West Bank, including East Jerusalem, illegal. Israeli Peace Now human rights movement says that there are 694,000 illegal Israeli settlers, 145 illegal Israeli settlements, and 140 unlicensed settlement autoposts in these areas. Harvard University President Claudine Gay has resigned. Details come after the break. Stay tuned and we will be right back. Harvard University President Claudine Gay has resigned. This is after being criticized for her comments on anti-Israel protests on campus and allegations of plagiarism. This is a possible new weapon in right-wing attacks on higher education. The accusation did not come from academic peers, but her political foes. Her detractors charged that Gay, who has a PhD and is a professor at Harvard and Stanford, and headed Harvard's largest division before being promoted, got the top job in a large part because she's a Black woman. Christopher Rufo, a conservative activist who helped orchestrate the effort to kick her out, celebrated Gay's departure as a win in his campaign against elite institutions of higher education. On X, formerly known as Twitter, he wrote, quote, "Scout," invoking a gruesome practice taken up by white colonists who sought to eradicate Native Americans. She announced her resignation in a letter to the Harvard community on Tuesday, noting that after deliberation, she realized that it was in Harvard's best interest for her to step down. On December 5, Gay and 2 other U.S. university presidents testified before a U.S. congressional committee about anti-Semitic incidents at their universities. These were held in the wake of Israel's ongoing attacks on Palestine. Gay said it was upsetting that their commitment to anti-hate and academic rigor was called into question. She also said it was frightening to be subjected to personal attacks and threats fueled by racial animosity. Gay, whose tenure lasted just over 6 months, is the second Ivy League president to resign amid criticism of anti-Semitism at U.S. colleges. University of Pennsylvania President Liz McGill also resigned last month after criticism and pressure following her remarks at the congressional hearing. Alan Garber, Harvard's provost and chief academic officer, will serve as interim president. In related news, young Muslims in the U.S. are facing increasing pressure when it comes to expressing their views on Palestine. The recent mass HENA convention in Chicago last week drew attention to the issue, with attendees revealing their hesitancy to speak out against Israel's war on Palestine. They say they partly blame the Biden administration for the mounting pressure. Young Muslims said that they are particularly concerned about the consequences of their activism as they risk losing scholarships, academic opportunities, and jobs. They're also afraid of being accused of anti-Semitism resulting from their support for Palestine. Despite these challenges, they believe that they can affect change through active involvement in U.S. politics, especially with the upcoming 2024 presidential elections on the horizon. Tariq Qaili is the American Muslim Education Coordinator for Palestine. He emphasized the need to provide students with legal and political defense, ensuring they can continue their work without feeling stifled. Qaili also highlighted the determination of the new generation to create a free Palestine. Osama Jamal, the Secretary General of the U.S. Council of American Muslim Organizations, pointed out that nearly 70% of American youth, not just Muslims, disapprove of Biden's Gaza policies. Social media has played a pivotal role in shedding light on the Palestinian cause, despite one-sided media coverage. Americans, especially young people, are increasingly exposed to the reality of the situation in Gaza, sparking a shift in perspective. The U.S. has condemned recent statements made by Israeli ministers Bezalel Smotrich and Itamar Ben-Gvir, advocating for the resettlement of Palestinians outside of Gaza. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller labeled the remarks as inflammatory and irresponsible. He emphasized that there should be no mass displacement of Palestinians from Gaza. Miller reiterated the U.S. stance that Gaza is Palestinian land and will remain so, with the aim of a future free from Hamas control and threats to Israel's security. The U.S. also highlighted that these statements do not reflect the Israeli government's official policy as communicated by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The response came in reaction to calls by hardline Israeli officials for a voluntary evacuation of Palestinians from Gaza and their appeal to other countries to take in Palestinians from the region. In international law, this forced displacement of civilians is called forcible transfer and is a crime against humanity, punishable by the International Criminal Court. A New Jersey senator faces charges of using his influence to benefit Egypt. He is now facing new allegations of doing the same with Qatar. Federal prosecutors say Robert Menendez accepted bribes from New Jersey developer Fred Davis. This was in exchange for financial support from an investment fund connected to the Qatari government. The indictment claims Davis expected Menendez to take actions that would favor Qatar in return for financial benefits. Menendez was the head of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. The indictment also highlights attempts by Menendez and his wife to cover up the alleged bribery after authorities raided their New Jersey residence in 2022. Menendez and his co-defendants have pleaded not guilty. His indictment raises the question of selective foreign influence, as senators who take stances in favor of Israel are not subjected to the same scrutiny. They will stand trial in May in the U.S. District Court in Manhattan. Israel is holding the bodies of 450 Palestinians from the occupied West Bank and Gaza. Amongst the withheld bodies are 18 belonging to Palestinian detainees who died inside Israeli jails. According to the National Campaign for Retrieval of Bodies of Palestinians, the victims include the bodies of 21 minors, 5 women, and 52 Palestinians from Gaza. Israel withheld 101 bodies of Palestinians in 2023, the largest to have been recorded in a year. The NGO said that the figure does not include the bodies of Palestinians held by Israeli forces in Gaza due to the lack of precise data. Nobel Peace Prize laureate Muhammad Yunus and 3 colleagues have been sentenced to 6 months in prison by a Bangladeshi labor court for violating labor laws. The court also fined Yunus over $200. Yunus is the founder of Grameen Bank and renowned for microcredit and microfinance initiatives. He plans to appeal the verdict. The 83-year-old has been involved in a long-standing dispute with the government, facing multiple legal cases, including allegations of tax evasion. Yunus and his colleagues have been granted bail and have 30 days to appeal the decision. Critics, including world leaders and Nobel laureates, have accused the government of unfairly targeting Yunus. But the government dismisses these claims as part of a conspiracy. Opposition parties view the court's verdicts as government retaliation. Rahul Kabir Rizvi, spokesman for the opposition Bangladesh Nationalist Party, condemned the verdict. India and the United Arab Emirates have begun a 14-day joint military exercise called Desert Cyclone in the northwestern Indian state of Rajasthan. The exercise, which started on Tuesday, will last until January 15th. It involves 45 personnel from the UAE Land Forces, and the Indian Defense Ministry said that the exercise will include establishing a joint surveillance center and conducting cordon and search operations. It's also expected to strengthen bilateral relations between the two nations. Over 3 million Indians live in the United Arab Emirates. The World Bank reported that in 2022, India received close to $90 billion in remittance flows from around the world, with the UAE being the second largest source of remittances after the United States. That's all from our Washington, D.C. studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel or hit the bell icon for the latest updates. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Assalamu alaikum and good night.